While exploring the Stony Field, we happen upon a curiosity. A moldy tome lies in the center of the ruins of a long-forgotten tower. We cannot help but pause to peruse its putrid pages.
And so it came to pass that the Countess, who once bathed in the rejuvenating blood of 100 virgins, was buried alive. And her castle, in which so many cruel deeds took place, fell rapidly into ruin. Rising over the buried dungeons in that god-forsaken wilderness, a solitary tower, like some monument to evil, is all that remains. The Countess's fortune was believed to be divided among the clergy, although some say that more remains unfound, still buried alongside the rotting skulls that bear mute witness to the inhumanity of the human creature.
A bloody countess? Surely the rogues would know more of this fiend, which the book locates in the Black Marsh. Tucking the tome underarm, we portal back to town, in which Decade Cain explains.
That tower marks a place of danger. There is an epic poem about it. How much sorrow one can stand was tested there.
Any poem with 100 virgins sacrificed is indeed epic, but this is not the blood magic we learned in the necropolis. We then seek the wisdom of the witch Akara, who warns.
The dangers there are not solely architectural. Once inside that wretched place, many succumb to a vile miasma.
Something tells us, with enough blood, this countess is perhaps a drain on even the very foundations of the tower itself. Kasha, the battle master, then reveals.
The tome speaks of treasure, yet all we have found are death, delirium, and disappointment.
Ah, treasure. With a lack of virgins, this countess must need a new bait to lure in fresh victims to indulge her bloodlust. Shazi, the blacksmith, then remembers.
That old tower is as rotten on the inside as it appears on the outside. I heard that several sisters came to a gruesome end when a stairwell collapsed on them.
No doubt more bodies to fill out the countess's ranks. Geed, the greedy merchant, then shows surprising insight.
The only wealth you're likely to find there is a wealth of vermin.
I guess Geed is filthy. All the virgins are gone. Warif, the caravan master, then apprises.
Rumors of treasure are no different from rumors of any other kind. They hold false promise to those who should know better.
And yet, although we do know better, we still feel compelled to learn of this countess's practice of dark blood magic. Exiting the relative safety of the rogue encampment, we begin our search for the countess, said to be located in the Black Marsh beyond the Dark Wood. It is not long before we find, guarding the marsh's entrance, unsurprisingly, is a gaggle of spear-brandishing vile lancers, led by the somewhat dubiously named Foul Poison, as she is indeed a vile creature, yet she seems to be cursed with a nasty lightning enchant instead. Trudging through the miasmic marsh, we pick off errant vile archers, once esteemed sisters of the sightless eye, and they lead us to the monolithic tower of the bloody countess, looming in the center of the morass. The decrepit tower appears to be heavily dilapidated, only boasting a single remaining floor. However, inside lies a ladder leading into its bowels below. Upon entry, we remark,
"This place reeks of death."
Inside the basement, the air is heavy with a malevolent mist that hangs about our ankles. Our only way forward is a crack in the western corner that leads to some form of cellar. Inspecting the entrance, we see the mist, momentarily abated, had hidden puddles of blood and bone underfoot. Inside the cellar, the blood is ever more pronounced. and oddly, the symbology of the Zakharim Church on display. This Countess must have once been an adherent, or perhaps seduced by a darker power. In response to our trespassing, ghosts begin to flood into the crypt. These wraiths are ethereal, physical manifestations of tortured souls from the plains of the burning hells. They materialize to attack as skeletal, bat-winged creatures, ringed by an aura of eldritch energy. It's only at the tower's fifth and final floor of the cellar are we peppered by freezing arrows of vile archers. Unable to conjure a defense, we still have but one directive: to dispose of the evil Countess. And so, we summon a town portal to gather sorely needed potions of Thor and advice to boot.
Quickly in and quickly out is all the advice I can give you.
Have you suddenly lost your taste for wealth?
There is no more I can tell you about that ancient tower.
You're not ready to give up, are you?
Guess what? I've named a boil on my ass after you. It too bothers me every time I sit down.
Your presence honors me. Better an empty pocket than a full grave.
Potions in hand and bone armor anew, we make our final gambit against the ghastly dark archers. Retreating into an eastern room, we find promised treasure is strewn haphazardly about, as if the occupants care little for the bounty. However, the Blood Clan goatmen come to defend the loot all the same, slaughtering the misshapen Khazra in a great hall lined with torches that leads to a literal bloodbath swirling with precious crimson liquid of the poor virgins, showing that the Countess has hopped out of the tub and is no doubt nearby. Searching the eastern arm of the altar, a dark stalker meets us in the doorway that bursts into hellfire. A chilling voice promises,
"Your blood will boil."
With the minions all but destroyed, we step through the blaze and face the fire-enchanted Countess in all her bloody glory. Only when their attention is drawn do we sink our dagger into her black heart from behind. As the Countess' spirit abates, treasure bursts across the room. And we find the Tal and Ral runes, as well as a unique poison-resistant quilted armor. Pausing momentarily, we see the pentagram etched with blood neath our feet on the floor. Touching it reveals the bloody Countess's spirit has not fully been destroyed this day.
Beauty fades. It is impossible to escape. I will not submit to this truth. I am beyond the pitiful laws of tiny men. Their blood will serve me. Fulfill my purpose, my splendor, reborn from their pain. And my beauty will never fade again.
With bounty in hand, we head back to town and are greeted by its inhabitants at the news that the tower is finally cleared.
Well done, my friend. Courage and opportunity together have created in you a kind of alchemy.
Your rewards are well earned. To us, the tower was nothing more than a headstone looming over a long-forgotten grave.
I thought the stories of treasure in the tower were nothing but lies. I am glad you found something of value in that death trap. Would that our sisters had been so fortunate.
Those riches will serve you well on the long road ahead.
Warreeve's advice is like corpse gas. It befouls the air for a moment, and then it disappears.
Remember, wealth is as insubstantial as a cloud and passes as quickly. Ignore Geed. All that twitters is not bold.
All that twitters is not bold. Truer words have never been spoke.